Hello, everybody, and welcome to Manufacturing on Demand. I'm Andy Moldenhauer. I'm the VP of Product here at Demand Chain, and joining me online is our manufacturing expert, John Graf.
Hi,
I'm in
folks.
sunny Minneapolis. John is in sunny Janesville. It's amazing that we're both sunny today. Hey, John.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I got about a foot of rain in the last week and a half.
Exactly. I was up late last night watching the end of the Stanley Cup,
Oh,
and
fantastic.
congratulations to Florida and the Panthers for taking it home. And great game. I mean, it went down to the wire, and the goalie got pulled at the end. I love all that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
what I think is amazing about Florida
Mhm.
is how when they win, they throw these rats out on the ice, the rubber rats. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, it's a really cool tradition, right? They put them out there, and the whole thing, they come out and sweep them in. But I started to think how they got them out there, and the little kids are throwing them. Maybe somebody in the top is launching them with some kind of
Sure.
object, right? Like a trebuchet, right? A medieval trebuchet. And who the heck would have? And I got one here. If everybody doesn't know, this is what a trebuchet looks like, right? You've seen
Oh,
these in
that's hilarious.
back in the
I'll tell you,
movies.
it's very kismet you happen to bring that up. I just recently I built with my daughter a trebuchet just for our front yard.
No way.
Uh, we it was an engineering experiment, but it was fun to actually get out there, put our hands on something real rather than a keyboard between the two of us. It was an exciting little adventure. Six
But
foot tall, 60-pound flinging weight, and it was a massive beast. It was awesome.
I mean, aren't there like city ordinances or something against to making amassing weapons in your yard?
I'm gonna go have to check the bulletin board that is the township of Fulton where I live. So because I'm not sure I they have very many ordinances at all. So
So what,
I
what do
did
you
get
what
with
do you sling with this trebuchet? What have you accomplished?
we
Are we sending rocks? Are we sending watermelons? What are we doing?
it was watermelons and a cabbage, a little bit of fruits, a little bit of veggies. If it goes far enough, it makes it all the way over into the baker's yard. And well, I've made an agreement with the bakers that any fruit that lands in their yard, they're welcome to keep. And in turn, he'll help me, fix up my truck or plow my yard, my driveway anytime he gets an opportunity.
Well, that's a lot different than the old Pinewood Derby that I did when I was a kid as a Cub Scout. But it is good that you have that agreement with your neighbors.
Sure,
I would
sure.
imagine you had to go to each one just in case something lands on their roof
You're
or
right.
landed in the yard that they didn't know about. That's amazing.
Not too many people have to worry about their neighbors' assault vehicles whenever it comes to the daily interactions from neighbor to neighbor. So no, it's worked out, and you make good friends in Wisconsin. You can fling extra trout over the fence anytime you need. It comes in handy.
Folks, this is the kind of stuff you're going to learn about in the manufacturing on demand sessions that we do here. And we would be remiss now if we didn't try to bring this into some kind of Salesforce alignment. And as I think about you telling that story about
Hmm.
you and the bakers, you probably had to set up an agreement with them. And I think
Certainly.
professionals that are out there now, they're looking for solutions to track the agreements that they have with customers. And as you know, as our manufacturing guy, Salesforce Manufacturing Cloud does a great job with sales agreements. And is that something that you could walk us through, help us understand a little bit how that could
I'll
be
tell you what.
applicable?
Absolutely, absolutely. I was playing around with some of the features that they have within the manufacturing cloud, specifically the sales agreement. And in reality, I do have a little bit of an agreement with the bakers over there. We've got chickens, and we give them eggs on a regular basis because I have too many. So I set up a sales agreement. Let me share with you what I have so far. You're looking at a Salesforce Manufacturing Cloud org that I have lined up. I play around with it because I like to dig into all the toys that they offer. Right now, we're looking at a sales agreement, the Baker's agreement to be specific. This is a tab set up of some records, just like you would have on any other thing you'd find in Salesforce. Your opportunities, leads, accounts. This is your sales agreements. We look into a little bit of the details here. We can see that we're going to set a start date, we're going to set a frequency of months and 12 counts. So we're going to look at 12 months into the future of how our sales agreement is going. And we, of course, identify our account, our contact, a lot of the basic information. This is where the fun part gets in. You can see this product down here. I've added a dozen fresh eggs. I get so many eggs here. My wife can only make so many quiches in 1 week before they're just done. So yeah, I'm more than willing to share some of the eggs with Brian and the bakers next door. So I created this sales agreement and I added the product a dozen fresh eggs. And I make the assumption they're going to want a dozen every week, which is roughly 4 every month. I put in 48 for to make it for the total of the year, and that divvied everything out for me once I first created this.
That's
Uh,
nice.
and now the actual quantity, this is where the fun part gets in because if you're managing an account and you know that they're going to buy X number of widgets every single month, you can go and set this up. And then you know that, oh, you know what? They're going to be very busy. They're going to load up a whole bunch. Let's look at, if I'm going to expand this out so we can see this a little bit better. How's that? All right. So if I show all my schedules, I can expand that all the way out and know full well that in April, he loves doing a big Easter egg hunt. They're going to need more than 4 dozen there. They're going to use 8. So we're going to double that one up. And bam.
That's amazing.
That updated the planned amount, which is multiplies across the sales price. You could set that for any of these items where you're at. Now, you see this one here, actual quantity? That's zeros. That's
Okay.
because it hasn't happened yet, right? Well, Salesforce gives you the opportunity to track those quantities through just basic setup. We don't have to do any crazy automation. You can have the orders that are associated with the account and the sales agreement immediately bring all that information up. Salesforce regularly on every night at midnight, it's going to reload and recheck those quantities and set those in place. So you can have in one spot where you can see what you thought you're going to sell, what you actually sold, how much money you have in place. You can do a whole bunch of updates. Suppose you want to put in discount prices. This is something you can add in there and say, for the month of July, we're going to put a 5% discount on this so that you can calculate the revenue that's going to be planned on all of this based off of how much they're going to end up buying, as well as any other metric that you have in mind.
So, John, that's awesome for what you have there on that product. But what if I have a bunch of products? Nobody wants to, track every product that they sell, individually, right? Line by line by line. That seems excessive or labor intensive for me to put in there. Can
I
it?
imagine it really could. Right now I'm just selling eggs and probably 3D minis here. But I could absolutely set up a category and just say pantry good items or and I was playing around with this for another client here who was looking at being able to track product categories. So this is the one that I had just recently created. This category, in this case, we're using trenchers. This is some of the out of the box data that comes with some of these Salesforce demo orgs. Trenchers. So the big pieces of machinery that's just going to route out part of the earth so they can grow more pumpkins or corn, right?
Yep.
Um, so this category allows you to just say in general, hey, I'm expecting to sell 150. In this case, you can see it's not by month, it's by quarter. So from June to August, September to November, December to February, you see a pattern here. And it extends all the way out into May of 2026. We're going to sell 150 to this company. Who's this company? Rhino Construction, of course.
Sure. That's awesome.
So they have all those in there. We have a rough average of how much the price is going to be. They average about $6,000 generally. So they multiply that 19 by 6 and you get $125,000,
Yep.
ultimately bringing us a planned amount of $1 million. So this sales agreement, huge deal. Not only are your account managers want to be tracking this, but executives at the top, they're saying, hey, in the next 2 years, you're going to be selling $1 million of just trenchers to these guys. Let's keep track. Let's see where they're at. If they want a price break, I want to see if they're actually going to be hitting these numbers. This is where you're going to get that line of sight.
Yep.
This is where your account managers are going to know what's going on with their customers.
That's awesome. So, I think if we connect it back to the end-to-end process in Salesforce, you have opportunities and pipeline inspection to keep an eye on what's coming, right? What are we trying to close? And once you close it, now we have this agreements area, sales agreements, where you can
Mhm.
track what you've actually committed to and what's in there. So you can see the whole lifeline of what's coming down the road and what we've committed to. In an upcoming release of the podcast, we're going to talk about forecasting, right? How do you show that? But I
Oh
think
man,
for today, that's a fantastic overview of the sales agreements area.
I
It
can't
looks like
wait to
you
show you
have
that.
the ability with the bakers to keep them under control of what they're doing, which is awesome. So your trebuchet warfare can happen there in Jadesville.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, very good. John, thanks for joining me today. And we look forward to doing this again, folks. Like what you're seeing here, we'll be back. We'll be doing this on a regular basis for you. So all the best to you in your Salesforce endeavors, and we'll see you next time.
Enjoy.